thank you for joining.
For sure. Nah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I'm learning some stuff too, so we good.
All right.
Gotta be patient in this life.
So it's a electricized TV. Just to give you some background, the socket that you see right there, it was a project at school where we had to choose one object and turn it into like as many ideas as you can. And I was just washing dishes one day trying to think about a project, and then the electric socket was in front of me. And I was like, I'll try that. And then it kind of turned into a philosophy of mine where everything's connected, and it's like a symbolic representation of our generation, a symbol that many people, like, it's like underlooked, and we all use it, we all connect to it every single day, but it's just an ordinary object that's like whatever, but we're all connected is basically it.
It's powerful too,
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, man. I didn't even think about that. It's like, yo, the socket. It's funny because you kind of, I think that's a dope concept, just, through your observation. It's kind of crazy though, because you think about how many things you take for granted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you use it so often.
Yep.
Like, I'm just gonna plug this into the socket, and you don't think anything else about it. You don't give any like gratitude to the socket or whatever. You know what I mean? You just plug it in, and one day it don't work. You're like, damn, the socket don't work.
Yeah.
But that shit's powerful, man.
Yeah, and then when you think about it, we're all on this grid of connectivity, and it pretty much makes everything that, like this whole video cast, it makes it possible, and the internet and everything, and we're all connected, which is, yeah. But thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you making the time and just being here. And this podcast has really no agenda. Just here to speak to creatives and connect in any sort of way and subjects, and yeah. So would you like people to know you as DeAndre or Alpha Complex, or?
I think people should know who I am. Yeah, DeAndre. That's solid. A representative of Alpha Complex. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, and a very talented creative. We met through Be the Change Yoga.
Yeah.
Your partner being the owner.
Yep. T. That's her thing right there.
Yeah. And my partner being a studio manager.
Yeah.
And we, what do you call it? You're like I really enjoy your work and all the creative. The amount of times that we've been speaking, you've been like juggling different types of creative projects.
Yeah.
Is there any project that you would like to express?
Man, I guess you know what. I'll show the Alpha One.
Yeah, that one's.
I'll show the Alpha One.
Okay.
Let's rock with that one.
And Alpha One is this really futuristic hat or headwear that I've never seen before, and it's you shot a video of this of your product, and it's are you ready to show it? Or?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then we could talk about it later.
Sounds good.
All right.
Oh, there you go.
Is the audio on?
Yeah, it'll play now.
This is Alpha One. Its unique and bold design stands out from anything else on the market. It's stealth, it's bespoke, it's thought-provoking. The faceted crown shape is mesmerizing and places any viewer in an alternate dimension. There are many pieces of headwear on the market, but nothing quite like Alpha One. Alpha One took 5 years to develop, from an idea to physical product. Along this journey, there was so much that had to be learned and discovered in order to complete every stage of the process. Alpha One is beyond headwear. It's a symbol of empowerment, connecting like-minded people in new ways while creating spaces that feel uplifting and open. Let's inspire the next generation of creatives through our actions so they can define their own prosperous legacies. Join us. Back us. Are you Alpha?
Alpha Complex. Alpha Complex.
So, alphacomplex.com.
Yeah. So, would you like to hear how that all came to be, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I've always been like a tinkerer, you know what I mean, of things. And I always was someone that wanted to push the envelope, you know what I mean, with whatever I did or just whatever showed up in society. Always thought like things could be better, you know.
Yeah.
I think people are scared to take risks, you know what I mean. So I'm a risk taker, you know. I like to live dangerous, you know. YG say what? Stay dangerous. But yeah, so that concept was thought of like 2015.
5 years ago.
Yeah. 2014, 2015. Actually, yeah, let me see. Nah, I think it was like 2014, 2013 or something like that. But anyway, I was just rolling in my car and I'm like, yo, I want to create some dope ass headwear. And I was just on the freeway and I'm like, yo, hats, you know, I like hats. So all right, I'm gonna make a hat. So then I went home and started to like really create some like designs. I had this bust of Jay-Z that I did in 3D. I modeled Jay-Z's head in 3D for my senior thesis in college, along with some other things. And he had like that New York Yankee on, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. His signature style, whatever. So then I'm like, you know, what would it look like if I just like pixelated this whole thing? And then I was like, boom, boom. And I was like, oh shit, I got it. And from there, I just like really, really went in and like just worked with it, like made the triangles and the different facets the way they need to be to make it look right. Not just like, oh, press a button and it's done. Nah, like I went in rather, and just really, really took the time, spent hours, days, weeks, months to just really make it perfect. Yeah. You know, and then I'm like, all right, what's the next step? Like, how do I make this thing a physical reality, you know? So then doing crazy amounts of research, ended up buying like a small little 3D printer to really see what it looked like in physical realm. And then
what was the 3D printer during that time?
What do you mean?
The model of that you were using.
Oh, damn. That's a good question. I would have totally left that out. It was a MakerBot Replicator 2.
Okay.
You know, at the time I was like, that was the 3D printer, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was a small build volume. Like 4x8 or something. I don't know what it was, but it was small. So anyway, I'm like, all right, I can piece it together. I can do all these different types of things. And then at some point I'm like, nah, I got to get a bigger printer. So after so many different, printed prototypes, I'm like, all right, I need the one that's going to actually print something out big where I can actually put it on my head. So then I found this company called Type A Machines here in the Bay, San Leandro. Okay, yeah. So I'm in LA and I found out about them and I hit them up. I'm like, yo, let me come check your spot out. So I drive up from LA to the Bay, saw their whole operation. All right, I'm like, yo, I want a printer right now. Dropped like $3,500. Boom. Got the printer. Nice. They shipped it to me. Or no, actually, they didn't ship it to me. When it was ready, I came to pick it up. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't trust no shipment methods.
For that amount of money too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. I didn't know they had that large, formatted printers during
Mm.
that time,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy because your hat is, it's as big as our head.
Yeah,
and
it's a actual size hat, right?
yeah.
So yeah, did that. I think that was probably like a year later after I had the MakerBot. So 2015, I bought it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would start going crazy. I'm like, all right, boom, I got the size right. One print after another, just like, nope, this one's too big, this one's too small. And I had long hair. Well, I have long hair now, but I had like crazy puffed out like Lenny Kravitz type style hair. If you don't know who that is, just Google him. But yeah, so that was a situation, and in order for me to be able to fit the hats proper, I had to cut my hair. So I cut all my hair off because I was dedicated to this shit, you know.
Wow.
And I got the fitments, and then I sent them to a company to actually make final designs, like production quality designs, or finished product. I paid them like $3,000-$4,000 for them to do that.
Yeah.
And then I got back the crowns, and then I taught myself how to sew. So I got an industrial sewing machine, and then I taught myself how to sew, and I put the hats together, and boom, like, you know, that's how I did it. Just nonstop, you know, like dedication.
That's beautiful. I just brought up a picture of it from your Twitter account, and the amount of detail in it is really intricate.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
It's dope.
Yeah, we definitely had we definitely have more coming, like more different concepts coming.
That's super cool.
Yeah, thank you, man. I shot that. That was San Pedro. That's where my old neighborhood I was living at for a few years, and down in LA.
Yeah, and the video that we showed earlier, DeAndre shot that as well, and lit it, did the lighting.
Yeah. I shot that in my living room. It's like, what? Your living room? Yeah, no, I shot that in my living room.
Yeah, like super professional, and it was super cool.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that, man. You know.
Yeah.
It's all. It ain't about the tools. It's about the vision. You know.
Yeah.
And the execution.
And like this project, you know, there's a lot of talks about school. Like I've been having recent conversations about like, is going to school like worth it for the amount of tuition? And like this is like a project that is what we would, or in my perspective, what we would do in school. And like this is a project that, or is a final project in a way, or a concept project that like putting the amount of money is like paying for school, but creating like, I'm not sure if I'm making sense here, but yeah, the amount of money you put in school for a project, paying the teachers, paying per unit, it's very similar to the real life situations of purchasing a 3D printer and putting your time and energy into it. It's like every day is kind of like a final or a midterm in creating something. And this is super beautiful, like these little details, like that back edge right there. I'm a sucker for design, and
for sure.
And like all the angles, because I've taken sculpture classes, and you want to see it in a 360 degree angle. But
going back to that like to the school situation, it's tough, right? It's really like, what type of experience do you want to have? You know what I mean? And I mean, schools have been around for thousands of years, right? It's like, but I think really observing what is school, you know, and I think looking at that is an important thing, because life is school, right?
Yeah. Like
your journey in life is school, like walking outside, waking up out the bed at school. Yeah. You know, because anything can happen in those moments. But I think that the dope part is that in life we have people that have done things before us, right? And now they have the tools to, you know, convey them or display them or mentor or whatever that might be, right?
Yeah.
So I think like school's not bad, but
It's not bad.
You know what I mean? I think the idea of how we know school, right? That idea isn't bad, because life is school, life is a lesson, but it's really about, okay, what's your journey? Do you want to spend 4 years in an institution? You know what I mean? Which is nothing wrong with that, but you can learn a lot more valuable information on the out in the world. You just have to do the work and find the connection points, connect the dots, and find the people that have those answers for you. And it's going to just cost you time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you had a scholarship, dope. But if you got to like get loans and stuff like that, man, that shit can add up.
It really does, on top of living, food, all the extra expenses that come with it.
Yeah, that's real shit. Like, that's real. I mean,
supplies.
Man, for real. And it's discipline. They're like, you have one where you're essentially forced. Well, I don't want to say forced, but you're held accountable in a way, right? Because you paid money. You have instructors and all this other stuff. And then on the other one, I feel like the other one is much more raw. Life is much more raw, you know? You got to be way more disciplined to be out here. You know what I mean? You got to be way more disciplined. And your accountability factor might go up even more, because it depends on, it depends on like who you're connected with, right? Is that person going to hold you accountable or not? So I guess it's easier to fall off the wagon if you're out there on your own. So I see why some people choose school. Yeah.
I didn't mean to sidetrack off of your story.
No, it's okay.
With the alpha complex, but is there anything else that you would want to talk about?
In terms of like the hat, or
and where it's going, or what you see in the future?
Well, I think we said as much as we said about the hat. It's really about pushing the envelope. And I have more concepts that at some point I'm going to release. But I'm just really, it's timing for me and making sure the resources are there and stuff like that. But I think Alpha Complex itself is shifting into a design house structure type situation, where we have different brands under the name Alpha Complex, where it's all embodying design, right?
Yeah.
But just the different realms of design, like, there'll be a brand under Alpha Complex that makes soap or candles or something like that, and then there'll be another brand that makes like cars, you know what I mean, or another brand that makes fashion accessories, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be something like that. I feel like it's really pushing the envelope of design excellence, and not being scared to take risks. Because one thing that I learned is that you can have a dope idea, and you might feel that idea is like super dope, and people around you might feel like it's super dope, but that idea can be ahead of its time, and it may not be welcomed into society because it's too far into the future. You know what I mean? And then you gotta come back around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
sometimes it's too early for some type of products.
Yeah, and that shit's crazy, cause launching a product is, you'd be like, oh yeah, man, like this shit is dope. This shit's gonna pop off when they launch it, and then it don't. It don't pop off.
Just like the beginning of the internet, and how email, they're like, oh, what the hell's email?
Right.
Where's that gonna go?
Right.
And lo and behold, it's a part of every type of communication, and it's kind of crazy seeing how things evolve.
Yeah. Nah, it's real. It's real, man. And we gotta stay up with the times, or we get left behind.
Yep. You mentioned soap earlier. And I don't know if you want to talk about or if that's still an underground project.
Nah, I mean, I'm not gonna get a name of the brand quite yet, because I still got to get some things in line legally and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
But I do. I bring it up because I do enjoy hearing how you've been creating this soap and how you've been taking surveys from a lot of people. And,
yeah.
Wait, how long ago did you start the soap project?
Oh man. Well, I made my first batch of soap like 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, I think. But this particular situation, this particular soap project, I started earlier in the year. It was, we had left to Brazil and then came back, and then this whole little COVID thing popped off. So, but I had already started the project before we left. So it was like, all right, well, this is what I'm going to focus on. I'm just going to continue building it and perfecting their different recipes. And that's what I did. I just been giving soap to people. I got a I got a shoebox full of soap at home, just different renditions of soap that I had made. And I would just give it to, we would try it in the shower every day as a new bar of soap to see which one felt good. So this is what it was. I like soap. You know what I mean? I like soap. I like candles. I like stuff that make you feel good, that make your house smell good, that make you smell good, It's like therapeutic, you know what I mean? It is therapeutic.
Yeah.
So, and it's a necessity. It's not just something, you know what I mean? Yo, it's a necessity for real, right?
It definitely is a necessity.
Yeah, man. So, and you don't want a soap that's going to have like all these chemicals and processes, refined shit in it. You know what I mean? You want something that's going to be super clean and simple and just does what it needs to do. Clean you, make your skin feel good, nourish your skin, and have like, if you in the smells, have a nice aroma that helps like enhance your shower experience.
Yeah, and that's the part of the design that I like about. I could see your design work in the soap.
Oh yeah,
because I know it's not easy to just mix a bunch of ingredients together to come up with the aroma, the texture, the way it moisturizes, the way it exfoliates. And we were talking about this earlier, and my partner was using the soap, and I was able to smell it like from the hallway. Walk in towards the bathroom, and I was like, it smells good. And yeah, no, that's kind of crazy how much aroma a soap can give off, and the way it moisturized my skin, not like no other soap that I've used before. And I feel like people are looking for that, and especially really good ingredients and none of that like Dove shit or
yeah, man,
or whatever other soaps are out there that just is full of like weird chemistry. Yeah,
nah, it's real. I mean, like, I know me being the black dude, person of color, a lot of people in my family, they use Dove.
Mine too.
Yeah. Oh well, there you go. It's a POC thing. But yeah, like, and I'm sure other people use Dove too. It's not just that. I'm just saying it because we can relate to it. But since I've known, my dad used unscented Dove. My uncle, aunt, unscented Dove. Everybody I know is unscented Dove, and I'm like, yo, this ain't even soap. Like, what y'all doing? So then I give it out. Man, no other soap don't. Dove doesn't make me break out. Every other soap does. All right, try this soap. Man, it made my skin feel good. Man, it did this. Man, it did that. I didn't even break out. Yeah, because it's clean.
I agree. It made my skin feel good. It still feels good.
Dope, man. I really love people's feedback. If they don't like it, I love it. If they like it, I love it even more. But it's always a constant cycle of improvement,
Yeah.
So
and I could feel that you came a long way with the current product that you have.
Oh man,
now. Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Can't wait to see what else you come up with. And I also had a question about what would be your earliest memory of art or creativity, the earliest that you could just think of, and how it affected you.
That's a pretty that's a good question, and like that one, that I think that answer is embedded into my being forever. I mean, grew up in a family, or from a family rather, that a lot of people could just draw naturally. So I remember when my mom, we would just sit down like on the ground or on a table, whatever, and just draw.
Yeah.
We would just draw characters out of a coloring book, or we would color, we would draw, we do all the different types of things, right? And my mom, her character would come out perfect, and my character would look all lopsided. But I was young, but I was able to draw the character. And you have to practice to get your strokes right and your penmanship right and all that, right? Your line work. So over time I got better, but yeah, those types of things. And then I remember too, as a kid, I would take stuff apart. Like I would take my toys apart just to see what was like on the inside and how things worked.
Yeah.
And couldn't put it back together, but but I took it apart, and then over time, those two things literally were like the precursors to identify who I would be and who I am now today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So little drawing contest, all that stuff. With the homies in school, elementary school, stuff like that.
Did you guys ever have like a black book that you would all like?
Nah.
Just separate sketchbooks.
Nah, yeah. You talking about friends at school and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. I know I had a memory. I don't even have my sketchbooks anymore, those, because they got lost in storage. But
yeah,
I remember I had a homie, Mario. I think his name was Mario Lopez. No, it ain't. I'm thinking about that other dude, that famous
Saved by the Bell?
Yeah, that ain't him. But no, his dude name was Mario, though, for real.
Yeah.
And I don't know his last name. Let me not do that. Super cool dude. The Latino dude, that was the homie, and we would draw like lowriders. I mean, we would draw like comic book characters. We would make up our own superheroes and stuff that. Man, that sketchbook I had was fire, man. Damn, I can't believe I let that shit go. But yeah, we did a lot of stuff like that. So he got me into drawing superheroes, like making my own superheroes. We would like have like crab arm superheroes, and we had this template of just how to draw them, you know what I mean? It was crazy. But yeah, that was like the closest thing to a black book, because we were always together drawing.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
In high school, some friends, we had the sketchbook and we just passed it around, and people would just like add to it.
That's dope.
And then it got lost. We don't know who has the sketchbook that was being passed around to people, and they just disappeared. But
yeah,
I remember doing some type of tag in it.
Oh, dope.
Yeah. And yeah, it's interesting to just think about what you created and where you evolved until today.
Mm-hmm.
And that spark of creativity for sure has been crazy. So your mom and yourself would go around the table, or just have a table and just get creative with each other.
Yeah.
Would she ever talk about like, or would you ask like, because in the Filipino culture, or I don't know if it is just a Filipino culture, they always, when you're making art, they always like bring up an ancestor, or like, oh, your grandpa used to draw really well,
mm-hmm.
and then his grandpa,
mm-hmm.
you must have received that gift from your grandparents on this side of your family or
mm-hmm.
something. And like, so that's what they would tell me, like,
mm-hmm.
and on my dad's side, it would be music. Like there's a lot of talented musicians in my family on my dad's side, but for myself, I can't do music.
Yeah. Well, I think it was the only thing that we point of relativity was my older brother Junior. She had a older brother, which was my uncle. He could draw really good, so of course he got that from somebody, right?
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know. But she would talk about him a lot and say how good he was, how well he was able to draw. He was actually murdered, so
Oh, no.
wasn't able to like get that intel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like the closest thing. Oh yeah, Junior was able to draw. So yeah, it had to be. It's, of course, it's like some sort of ancestral lineage type thing. I don't know from who, from what side. You know, if I could tell it, it would be from my mom's side.
Yeah.
Because my mom was like the super creative person,
Oh, cool.
and still is the super creative person. You know what I mean? So I would say it's from my mom's side, but I don't know. You know, because then that can go to like her mom, which is my grandma, or her dad, which is my grand. You know what I mean? Because then it can split there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah.
So, how do you imagine your career to evolve?
Ooh, that's a good question. Right now I'm in that redefining stage as we speak. Moving from LA, having like a set of clients that, you know, was always consistent, to then moving to the Bay and having to start over. And also in relationship with someone, right? Having a partnership with someone. So yeah, you know, I love technology, so I think I might move into that space. I am in that space as I'm using, you know, like the hat was a fusion of like, you know, technology and design, right?
Yeah.
And traditional manufacturing elements like sewing and stuff like that, right? So I think it'll be along the lines of that, you know, fusing technology and other things, you know, nature and stuff like that. But I am a person that believes in vertical integration. So I think launching a manufacturing facility that just manufactures like dope shit. So that could be a thing. I know it sounds like all over the place potentially, but it's okay. I'm just giving you a window into my mind. I like just making shit. I just like making stuff. So I might just be the guy that just invents stuff and then sells it to other companies or licenses to other companies. I don't quite know yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I know it's in the realm of just making shit. I do want to teach. So that's something too. You know, these brands that I'm building are an expose of like what I can do in terms of build a brand. But once that brand is built, I want to empower people to run that brand. You know, people that are misrepresented and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and put them in those places to run the brand, for them to then learn new skill sets, to then maybe even create their own brands. You know what I mean? So it's really about empowering people in different ways and not exploiting people. Because, you know, the consumer is exploited in so many ways. They don't even know it. They hella exploit it. They don't even fucking realize that shit. And that shit's fucking crazy to me. Like, the shit that you like isn't, I know we're kind of digressing, but the shit that you isn't what you really like. Like, you weren't born liking that shit. Like, you were taught to like shit. You were taught to have these different types of ideals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And people will fight you over this shit, but they don't realize, like, you ever heard of a term called a tastemaker? Like, what is a tastemaker? A tastemaker. These are people that influence society because and make people like shit. Oh, they got good taste. That shit's fire. You know what I mean? Like, you don't wake up in the morning saying, "Oh, I like Lamborghinis." It's like, no, you were conditioned to like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a Ford or whatever it was over time because of the information that was being fed to you, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we got to see things through that lens. And I think once we see things through that lens, then we open ourselves to more choices and more expansive experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so interesting. Like the cryptocurrency community, for example, you'll always see them talking about Lamborghinis and supercars.
Yeah.
And that's the taste culture, the culture behind it. And I I feel like I could go on different tangents on taste making and
For sure.
which is that's cool. Like that's really interesting hearing about that. Yeah.
I don't want to digress you from your.
Oh
from
no,
what you
no,
got either, you know, so.
we're free flowing, so
For sure.
yeah. And what I found also cool is your background in 3D.
Oh yeah.
So is that what you studied in college?
Yeah. So motion. Damn, what was the name of the major?
Motion graphics or
Nah, it was like a name for it.
new media?
I forget. Digital media. That's what it was. Digital media. Yeah.
Okay.
And I wanted to make video games, but then I was like, man, fuck that, man. These people, they in here like slaving and shit. Like, we gotta leave that shit back, you know, in those times. Like, hell no. But nah.
What I was gonna say is that it goes hand in hand with like your 3D printing, because I'm sure that that 3D modeling, you could like pretty much create anything you want with your 3D designs into a 3D printer.
Yeah,
which is like a crazy cool skill to have, because for me, I don't know how to use SolidWorks or any 3D things, and it's hard to it's like, man, I want to make this, but I can't do 3D at the moment. I have to learn it.
Okay, I was about to tell you that, so I'm glad you recovered and said that, because I was going to tell you.
Yeah, and then there's the time that you have to allocate in order to do it.
Yeah,
the most precious thing is time, really.
You don't get that shit back.
No, and how you spend it. Yeah, it's true. I could not watch an hour of Netflix or HBO and learn 3D. Maybe I could just do the fundamentals of it and be able to create anything, so I could print it.
Yeah.
But yeah, time. And I understand what you were saying earlier about going into different types of creative projects, because this podcast, it took a lot of research and studying in order to get to this point. And I was not so familiar with it, but I feel like it's a structure that you build that goes hand in hand, where first I was trying to dabble in photography. And when I was doing that, this is where like some of the equipment came. And I was just like, okay, from photography and understanding lighting, and then going into sound and recording and sound editing. And I was just like, and everything just meshes together. And then my fine art background, and new media. I went to school for new media and fine art, and just treating it as a painting, where visually you want to have good lighting, good values, and the art of sound. Like, okay, how would I paint sound and edit the sound? And it's all very visual and very like from sound to vision to all our senses, really. Aroma, right? And having, like, I guess mastering the form of creative expression. Yeah.
Nah, man, it's dope that you shared that, right? Because I think it's all elements of nature, you know. Like if you observe like nature mimicking itself, like, you know, you got this thing called biomimicry, where like,
never heard of it.
Yeah, it's dope. Where like nature, it mimics itself in certain types of ways, right? Like if you listen to like the waves crashing, right?
Yeah.
It's like that, right? But then if you're in a forest and then you hear the wind blow through the trees, it almost sounds the same.
Yeah, and the rustling of the
leaves. Exactly. So, or like, you know, like you got the Japanese bullet train, right? And then they have these electronic arms that hook up to this wire that powers the train, right? Well, those arms, they were modeled after like owl wings. So when it hits, so when it's going along, it's as silent as possible, because when an owl swoops down and captures its prey, it's silent, and it's the shape of the wings, because it doesn't have a lot of drag. Right, because when you have drag, it increases a lot of sound, right? It increases the volume of the sound. And then the bullet train, it's like the beak of a bird.
Yeah. So
because it's shaped that way, when it goes through space, again, it's less friction.
Yeah.
So it's really silent. You know what I mean? So these are different types of biomimicry examples. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Or like Uber, they used how their grid is set up. It's like an ant colony. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. Like,
yeah, and BMWs are like shark designs with the gills.
See, there you go. I didn't know that.
I think that was the animal that they were mimic.
You see what I'm saying?
And when you go to art school, they want you to draw from life or paint from life, because and nature, because that's where the best information comes from. Compared to a piece of a picture. But in a real life model that you're just like drawing and painting, you could see all the little details and the vast amount, the whole spectrum of the value, more so than on a piece of paper. Yeah,
you're right. And there's an energetic exchange too, you know. But no, you're right, and that's why I don't look at any other shit. I observe nature. That's where I like get all my influence from, is nature. And
I remember you telling me that you like to. I don't know if you were having like a creative block or something, that you were talking about going hiking and just going out hiking, and then it would go, and then going back after is when you can think better, or I forget.
Honestly, nature is my answer to everything, for real. We are being so removed from nature that we don't have any answers to nothing. You know what I mean? We're so external. But yeah, so I just go to nature as a refresh, because I'm in a city. There's so much frequency, there's so much noise, and it literally makes you sick. You know what I mean? You get headaches, you get disorientation, like all these different things that happen, right? When you go to nature, there's nothing there but just the frequency of the foliage, the trees, you know, the air, the ground, you know, the animals there that exist, right? So it's a complete reset. You can go having a headache, and as soon as you get into nature, your headache's gone. The sound of rushing water, you know. So I touch the trees, you know, all those types of things, you know, just to feel the texture, you know. So that's how I see my life. That's how like walk through life is in that space, because nature's not wrong. You know what I mean? Nature is the perfection of imperfection. You know what I mean? And that shit's real to me, man. Like, it's not a distortion. Like, this other shit is a distortion. Nature, man, that shit ain't no distortion. That shit's real.
It's for real.
You know?
For real. Just like I think UNT recommended the movie go ahead. What was it called?
I don't
the mushroom
Mighty Fungi or something like that.
Mighty Fungi.
I think that's what it was called.
I think so.
I can't remember. Something like that. But yeah, I was just thinking about that literally, and then you just, I don't know, that exchange right there.
The mycelial network.
Man.
How they communicate throughout the whole forest and the ground below the forest, and how they're able to, or whoever they is, and communicate with each other through the roots and the system, through vibrations, footsteps, spores, and they're the main recyclers of everything, really.
Bro,
we die in nature, the spores or the mycelia will decompose us and put us back to earth. It's kind of insane. Like, I never found out about that stuff until like recently, the past 2 years, because
me too.
The first instance of that going into my mind is from the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
When he had I forget the mycelium man's name.
Yeah, that dude with the glasses.
Yeah, Paul Stamets.
Yep, Paul Stamets. Yep, that's the dude.
He had a mushroom hat where people back in the day would have to carry around their head in order to transfer fire in case they really needed the fire, because it's like a slow burning tool that they were able to carry fire from one place to another without it going out, because the hat, just like, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, you're creating a hat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then there's that type of hat that was made back in the day for many other functions as well.
Yeah.
And it was made to hold fire. Like, you light it up, but your hat will be gone after that, right? It's like how people have those emergency ropes on their hands to like tie things, but that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Man, plants are powerful, man. Plants are powerful. So next time you think about killing a weed, don't kill that shit, man. That shit got some nutrients for you.
What would you do with it?
I don't know, like dandelions, for example. I know, like, they see those as weeds or something like that, right? Those things got a lot of nutrients and stuff like that in them, you know, for your like nervous system, for your skin, all types of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We gotta be more informed. That's it. You know, we gotta be more informed.
So I opened up Twitter, and have you seen Kanye West is another very creative person musically, fashion.
Yeah.
And he came out with another shoe. But I want to show you this design that he came up with. And it's like a croc, which people's comments are hella funny sometimes. But in a way, I would like to kind of deconstruct this design. Like, what are your first thoughts when seeing it?
It definitely looks like one of his previous shoes. Maybe a friend of mine has them. They have the little swoops on the bottom sole or whatever. But it looks like it has a very organic nature, right?
Yeah.
It has like this alien type vibe feel.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But again, I think it's you know, in my opinion, it's a representation of nature. You know, because if you look at like fossils and stuff like that, it has like that fossil vibe. You know, like a like diatomaceous vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it, you know, it could be because of the color rendering, but yeah, I think it looks like a shark head. Like the front of it looks like a shark head. You know what I mean?
And also a bird head. I could see a bird head. Very, bony. It's super bony.
Yeah, it looks like a fossil. And then like the motion that it's creating, it's like a forward, like a whoosh, like that type of forward motion. Whoosh, because of the lines, they're like imagine if you follow the lines and there were trails going behind the shoe or above the shoe. It's like a forward motion type thing. And it's funny because how they have an angle accentuates that motion. You can even see it more because of how it's like at that angle. Yeah. You know? Yeah, I think it looks dope, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think it's just fire. Look dope. What you think about it?
I am really like, I would want to wear it and see how it feels as well. Yeah. And I'm actually the type of person who has like really sweaty feet. And I need my feet to breathe. Yeah. Which is why I like this design as well, is the breathing function, because I also I am the type to like have minimalistic shoes. Yeah. And I like feeling the ground. But I just find it interesting the amount of time, like the time and the process of designing something like that, and it coming into fruition. Yeah, which is super cool.
I think that's like the greatest feeling. You know, you have a concept and then you bring it to the physical realm. Man, that's like the greatest feeling on the planet. You know, because you're like, damn, I did that. You know, but then depending on how far you want to take it, there's always more levels to it.
And then again, I feel like I would get made fun of, like wearing a shoe like this.
How you? Okay, okay. How you feel about that? Getting made fun of.
And then that's where we're talking about the trend, or what would you say earlier? The tastemaker. The tastemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so just like hearing the like people talking about this guy's hipster. Okay, what does that make you? Normal or?
Man, people be saying shit and don't even understand where they even lie in the spectrum. Cause we live in this distortion, bro. Like people are so distorted that they'll say some shit about somebody else and don't even realize where they stand.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Like that's problematic. That's very problematic. We got to observe ourselves before we can observe someone else. We always want to be in someone else's business, but not our own. You know what I mean?
Doing drive-by comments and.
Come on, man, get out of here, man. That's problematic, man. We gotta do better.
Well, that's cool. I like that point that you brought up about like when someone says something, then they're not really seeing where they stand, which is a good really good perspective and kind of brings some insight to myself as well.
Bro, look, let me tell you something. People can tease all they want, make fun of you all they want. Has zero impact. Zero, because like it's different. Like a comedian like trying to clown, that's different. That's what they do, right? Hey, yo, that's hella funny, right? You know, I'll probably be laughing with these people. It's like cool, like, all right, what you hiding? Not what you hiding. You know what I mean? You making fun of. Okay, what you hiding? And it may not ever. It's never personal, like towards you. Again, it's always what they got here. You know, like I walk out this motherfucker naked. I don't care. Like with a samurai sword, like what's up? You know, I probably get gaffled by the police, but that's just how comfortable I am with myself, man. I don't. You know, you get made fun of so much in life that at some point you like when you realize you're like self-discovery, you're cool. You know, like, all right, for sure. Yeah, that's cool. That's funny, huh? Yeah, it's cool. All right, I'm about to go to the forest real quick and watch some trees, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's
dope. Yeah. I love your insight, and
hopefully I'm not like running my mouth. I know I'm on a podcast, but
no, you know. No. I feel like I would like to use the podcast as like there's this long form discussion. Yeah. And from there, there's like little snippets of like gems, right?
I like that, bro.
And then you can put it into. You could take those snippets.
Yeah.
And then post it on Instagram, on wherever. It was someone was talking about this and how like it's like a different form of marketing, and little snippets of the podcast can go viral.
Yeah, it's that Joe Rogan vibe right there. He had the JRE clips.
Yeah, JRE clips. So he has his JRE, powerful JRE. I forget his YouTube and the clip version, which has those like little snippets of really cool sage advice.
Those clips give me every time. I'm like, yo, what they talking about now? Yeah, they got it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's already almost noon, and I don't want to take any more of your time. I appreciate you visiting.
For sure,
on a whim, and I know you're really busy doing projects. You were shooting a film project.
Yeah, just
earlier this weekend.
Yeah.
And now you're doing editing, making a poster. Oh, actually, can we look at one more thing before we end?
What's up? What you want to look at?
I want to look at your Kobe Bryant. Or actually, I know you haven't put it out yet. So if not, that's okay, because I know it was a project for your sister. So I don't know if you want to put it out publicly, but if not, that's cool. And if so. No pressure. Or if you want to share any other project.
It's fine, man. I mean,
because I thought that piece was really cool too. And it was just crazy starting off the year with Kobe passing away.
It's cool. It's all good. I'm not tripping.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so just that famous picture, we all know it, and just like drew over it, added some highlight effects, different things like that, and like this little laser beam coming down. Yeah, and just like the smoke in the back is like, another photo of him, and then the mamba come out of his mouth. I just had fun with it. It was for my brother-in-law. Really loves Kobe.
Oh,
We happened to be at their house when it, like, literally we're walking out the house in the morning, and then boom, like, neighbor came out, hey, you heard what happened to Kobe? So I wanted to do something special for them, and yeah, so I did this for him, and he got it for Father's Day.
Oh, cool.
So it's dope.
Father's Day.
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was a fun thing to work on. There's different emotions and stuff like that flowing, but it was a good thing to work on. It's weird, man. Like I don't know, I'm really into like energy and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, so I remember Nipsey Hussle, like that. I was really trying to connect with him for, dude from LA, that was like my guy. I loved his music. Didn't know him personally, but was building up to like, make some connection points. Literally like the night before he got shot, I'm here in San Jose, I hear gunshots. And then the next day he was killed. Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wow, coincidence, right?
Yep.
Bro, was in LA, and I had this I was in this little, I used Turo, shout out to Turo, dopest like
the
fucking,
car rental app,
dopest car rental app on the planet, like hella simple, easy.
Oh, wow.
Like fuck the rental car companies, go straight to Turo, like fire. So I had this car, and they're people's personal cars. Most people, some of them they have a fleet of cars or whatever, but this happened to be a personal car or extra car rather. So I'm driving, I'm like, yo, I hear a helicopter. It's like brrr, and I'm like, what is that noise? And I'm like looking out my window, I feel like I'm in like a mafia movie.
Yeah.
Cause I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I don't see no helicopter. And it was the car making that sound. It sounded like a chopper. That same day, you don't drive by airports on the regular. The same day I drove by Heartland Airport, which is like near my old neighborhood, because I was going to see somebody or whatever. And then, like literally the next day,
you find out
Kobe.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like weird, bro. Freaking weird. Like one would say coincidence, but twice? That's very strange.
Coincidences are fucking insane. Like usually the word coincidence, it actually means happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Coincide.
Root word.
Coincidence. And the expression of coincidence to main culture is like, oh, it's just a coincidence. But it actually means happening at the same time.
Bro.
And it's insane. Like when it happens, and supposedly there's a cartoon.
Oh yeah, no, there is a cartoon. You know what I'm talking about? You're talking about this. Was it The Simpsons? It was The Simpsons.
Was it The Simpsons? Oh, no, there's.
You talk with the helicopter crash
with
and then
with Kobe
and like the trophies come out and they try to take his trophies.
You see that shit?
Yeah.
Let me look that up real quick.
Was that this? No, that might have not been The Simpsons. Kobe. I know The Simpsons be doing shit like that too.
Cartoon crash. It wasn't Simpsons. It was some other.
Yeah, it was. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Like.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Like, really?
Out of all the things in a cartoon, and why would they have him crash in a helicopter?
Yeah.
Which is kind of.
Well, okay. So I thought about this, right? And he did take a helicopter everywhere he went. like to games.
Yeah.
He always flew. So maybe that was something that they knew.
Got it.
So that when I saw that, I'm like, maybe that's it.
Yeah,
you know, but I hear where you're at though. Still, you know what I mean. But
it's probably his main source of transportation, especially in Los Angeles.
Because traffic's crazy. But I you know what? Okay, here's the thing. Oh, I know we're supposed to wrap up, but
it's all good.
But here's the thing, man. Like, we gotta learn how to think without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say without judgment, I'm without judgment on ourselves. Because anytime someone has an idea that's out of the norm, people are afraid to share it because they might get ostracized. That's just fucked up. That is a psychological mind fuck. That is a distortion in itself. You know, you think about like medieval times. I don't know if the shit was if it was real or not, but you know, when people had like, they knew how to like make certain things, and they would be called witches and shit like that. And they would be fucking hung or burned or whatever.
Yeah.
Yo, we in the same society. It's called cancel culture. You know what I mean? And
we are. I agree.
Yo, we gotta be able to think outside the box with everything. Like, just because the media tells us one thing doesn't mean that it's correct. Just because the government tells us one thing doesn't mean that it's correct.
Yeah.
We gotta really like do research and figure this shit out. Like,
it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Because, for example, there's like a Facebook post of a white lady, you know, making fun of. Well, she wasn't doing it in the act, but it was just like her face on Facebook and saying some fucked up shit about George Floyd. And so someone else posted it and puts it on Instagram like this is their Facebook. Crowd mentality. They're gonna go after her.
Keyword: crowd mentality.
Crowd mentality, and they don't do the research if it's true or not. Who knows? It might not be true. So, but hella people are going to like hate mail on her, but yeah, no, it's crazy. Like, please do your research before judging somebody, or just even judging someone in general. I guess is very dangerous thing to do.
Right.
And to the point that people on Facebook with the same name as her, who are also white, got the hate mail as well.
Come on, man. You see it? Do you understand how mindless that is?
Yeah.
Like, that's super irrational.
Yeah.
You know, like you have a valid point. Like, when we say research, it takes time to do this shit. Like, it don't take 15 minutes. Like, you gotta dig. There's layers. Like, you might say like, oh, this dude, he owns this media company. Okay, well, who funds the media company? And then, okay, you find out who funds the media company. It's like, well, who are they? What type of dealings are they in? And you gotta layers and layers. Who's in charge of that company? You know what I mean? You really gotta do research, man. We gotta stop being dogs and start being wolves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for real. Because, you know, people are so emotional about shit, and they don't even know why they emotional about it. They don't know why they emotional about it. Oh, you hurt my. Why are you hurt? Well, no. You don't know who you are, and that's a problem. You know?
That is a problem, and I would like to say myself, I'm constantly trying to understand who I am as a person, and throughout this year, there's been very deep digging and discussions with people that hurt.
Oh yeah.
Especially with my partner and I, and I do enjoy the way she challenges me and her perspective, and versus mine, where sometimes I feel like I'm woke, or I felt that I was woke. But hell no, I'm not woke. I got a lot of work to do.
We all do, bro. We all do, man. Like, keep going. I'm just echoing.
That's all. Yeah.
Now we all do, bro. Like, man, people gonna hate me for this shit, but it's okay. I'm all right. I'm good. So I got an example or story. So, you know, everybody hates Trump. I don't personally like fuck with him. Like, you know, I ain't got no hands in his pocket. I'm not defending him, but I have a neutral stance, and I think that's important, right? The media has like literally manipulated people so badly that they just like hate this dude's guts. And I'm not taking sides with him at all. I'm just saying, like, shit's fucked up in terms of how we can instantly, like how we view people, right? How we show up.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. So now this is where I'm going with this. So we were coming from getting some food, and then me and my girlfriend coming to get some food, and then we see this huge ass lifted truck, right? And it had a fucking big ass American flag coming out the back of it, right? And it had a black and blue American flag, which is like the cops, support the cops type situation, right?
Yeah.
So then she's like, "Oh!" She's all fierce and shit. I'm like, "Babe, what's wrong?" "This fucker right here." And I'm like, "Yo, really? You don't even know this man? Have you met this dude?" "I'm not gonna pull up next to him." "Why?" "Oh, sorry. Why?" "Cause I'm angry and this, that, and the other, you know." I'm like, "It don't make no sense." I'm like, "Babe, so you're not gonna pull up next to him?" "No." So then we driving, we turn at the light. She's still like pacing him right behind him. I'm like, "Yo, are you gonna pass him?" "No." I'm like, and so then, you know, I was like, "Yo, stop being like a punk," you know what I mean? And just pass him, you know? So then we pass him, and we glance over at him, right? And he's like, "Hey, your front headlights out." And I said, "Babe, see? You created this whole distortion in your mind." And he just told us that our headlight was out. You know, like he didn't say no derogatory type shit, you know? And what I'm saying is, just because someone supports a different movement or a group or whatever doesn't mean that they're bad people.
Yeah.
You know, like what they're supporting might seem, or it may actually be inherently bad. Mm-hmm. But it's okay for people to have their own belief systems. It don't mean that they're fucked up.
Yeah.
It just means, and at the end of the day, the cold part is that just because they have a different belief system, y'all root cause might be the same. Not all the time, but there's a strong chance that your root cause might be the same.
Yeah.
And that's the fucked up part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We so busy going at each other, you know, scrapping. You know what I mean? Like T-Rex arms, and not saying like, "Yo, let's talk about this."
Yeah.
You know, and go back to what you said about having the uncomfortable conversations. We gotta have these uncomfortable conversations in order to evolve. Like life isn't easy. This reality we live in may make life seem like it's easy. Well, I mean, not this shit right now. This other shit. But before all that, it might make life seem like it's easy, but it ain't, man. Like, look at plants. Look at nature. They gotta go through so many different types of like. They gotta overcome so many different obstacles just to come out the soil.
Yeah.
Really?
They gotta deal with fire and other plants.
Other invasive? Is it invasive or evasive? Evasive species?
Yeah, and they got to deal with like other layers, the higher layers who are taking away from the sun, so they can't be living there. And nature, back to nature, and
it's nature. Bro.
The reflection of. Sometimes I feel like we're a bunch of walking mushrooms.
Hey,
like we are the mycelia, but in a different form, and it's. Because we're also able to connect with it through eating and that chemistry connection that we have when taking psychedelic type mushrooms. And we're walking plants.
Yeah, is
what I'm thinking, or I like to dream about sometimes.
I feel like we are, man. Have you seen The Life of Plants?
No.
It's a documentary. It talks about how plants communicate, and it shows examples about the connection points between the humans and plants. Like if a person comes in and destroys some plants, the plants record that in their memory, and they know like who did it. Oh, wow. So like if it's me, you, and say someone else, right? And you know, say I walk into a room and I destroy these plants, right? They're communicating, they're sending signals, like it's going haywire, like hey, right? And then I walk out the room, but then you go into the room, they'll be communicating like nothing happened. But if I go back into the room, the frequency goes back. It's crazy. Like they were doing these studies in Japan where they were teaching the plants how to speak Japanese.
Plants?
Yes, bro. And they had these like frequency readers or whatever. I don't know what they were called. These capturing devices, right? And she would say something in Japanese, and then the plant would actually mimic the cadence. Like if she said like arigato, the plant would be like dun-dun-dun-dun. Crazy, bro. You have to watch it. It's an old ass documentary, and it's hella long. The music is by Stevie Wonder, so that's pretty dope.
Wow.
But it's old, and I think people need to watch that because it'll allow them to understand nature and connect with nature more.
What's the title again?
The Secret Life of Plants.
The Secret Life of Plants.
Yeah, and it's you have to look. It's old. I mean, it's all low resolution.
Yeah.
I think it's like 2 or 3 hours long or something like that.
That's crazy. That when you're explaining that, it made me think about this. Deepak Chopra was.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of crazy. It's okay. My mind is going crazy right now because I want to explain a lot. But okay, Deepak Chopra was just talking about mice, and then there has been studies recently about mice and giving them the smell of lavender.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're smelling lavender, like the mice liked it, but they wanted to try something else where whenever they put the smell of lavender, they shock them, which is fucked up. But yeah. And so fast forward, the generation, like the children of these mice that were getting shocked by lavender, the kids, whenever they smelled lavender, they did not like the smell of it.
Mm-hmm.
The first group did like the smell of the lavender. So that made me think about like, man, so from generation, like whatever trauma is back there that is passed on through our genetics.
Slavery.
Right?
Yeah.
So holy shit. Like,
yeah, it's real, bro. You come out like, ooh. Like, what? Yeah. Shit's real, huh?
Yeah. So
like
just to know that those genetics get passed down,
bro,
like
trauma
blows my mind.
Yeah, bro.
And
everybody, even the people that weren't slaves have trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Just seeing all the crazy shit that's happening on this earth at the moment, and born trauma, passed on trauma.
Yeah,
holy
man.
shit.
Shit's real, bro.
That's so crazy. But and also I wanted to talk about like how art, when you describe, like when you're talking about Kanye West's shoe,
mm-hmm.
It made me feel you about how you look at it, and I was just like, oh, it made me like it more.
Oh, yeah.
And it's interesting how when you speak about art, like even like a painting, when you hear a perspective from other people and how they view the art, it takes on new meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And the painting just expands and it changes as life evolves. The people that experience it evolves. Like looking at current art today, Van Gogh, people spend millions of dollars on it, and then that makes other people view the art in a certain way because of how people connect with it, or how they exploit it by purchasing it with like huge amounts of money because they're able to, which want other people to want it even more. And then that's connected to the trend setting, distortions and then like Deepak Chopra. I used to be like all about Deepak Chopra, and like, he's a super cool guy, which I think he is still a super cool guy. But then I've been hearing other people talk about him. Like I was listening to a podcast called Yoga is Dead by a couple of Indian yoga teachers, and they speak about how Deepak Chopra, they speak about cultural appropriation and how Deepak Chopra kind of spiritually bypasses some. He doesn't believe in appropriation, and then hearing that perspective from people kind of changed my view on Deepak in a way. And it's just interesting how impactful people's views and explanations of things really affect everyone. And it's kind of crazy. I don't know what direct point, but it had to connect with viewing art, explaining art, the design of voice and explanation and understanding. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that made sense.
No, it made total sense actually. And I think it's all a part of like a difficult conversation. I mean, not between us, but like a global uncomfortable conversation, right? Because it's one of those things where you see people listen to hip hop music, like black people created hip hop music, right?
Yeah.
So you see other people listening to it, but then when there's a black cause that's present, it's like, where y'all at? Y'all still bumping the music, but are y'all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, we just like the music. Is that fucked up? Is it or isn't it?
My partner and I, we got into this conversation about cornrows. And because there was a point where she actually got some cornrows because she likes it. And then she started diving deeper into it recently and learning about
used to put rice in the hair.
Yeah, and
but go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
Oh no, I feel like you know more about it.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they did cornrows. I didn't know anything about rice in the hair, but because they're out in the fields and so their hair would get in their way, and so they would need to like do their hair a certain way, like that, and then it connected to and led to the conversation of cultural appropriation and how it is harmful. And for me, I was having difficulty like understanding harm. Okay, how is it harmful? And I had to dive deeper in order to understand the harmfulness in cultural appropriation. And and what were you gonna say about?
No, I mean, no, I didn't want to cut you off because you're presenting some point. It's so many different perspectives, interlacings, right? Intersections, right? Because it could be harmful when there's no accountability. Anytime you remove or negate accountability, that's when things can be harmful. Like every day I came and punched you in the face. Every day. Just boom, boom, boom. Every day I came, what's up? Come back next day, boom. And you don't do anything about it. There's no accountability. So therefore, you see how harmful that is? It's like, well, it's okay for you. I'm going to think it's okay for me to hit you. And because of that, I'm going to keep doing it to you. And then I might graduate to someone else. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be a point of accountability and say, hey, like, yo, let's have this conversation. Like, these are the rules and parameters of how you represent this culture. You know what I mean? It's funny. Me and T, we have all types of conversations. But a few years ago, we were talking about food and how, if you're going to engage with someone eating someone's food, you might want to know a little bit about their culture. You know what I mean? Or if you're going to like, yo, I'm gonna open my own Japanese restaurant and you're not Japanese. Like, you gotta know about the culture and you gotta respect the culture, just like someone from Japan would respect the culture. You know what I mean? And you gotta pay homage and honor that, in my opinion. And I think that's being accountable for what you're doing. But when you take a art or a practice that's thousands of years old and then bring it into some society that's only a few hundred years old, and then you restrict a group of people from attaining it for whatever reason because of some social economical issue, there becomes a problem. Now the problem is, in my opinion, is from a lens, right? For example, if you have a group of people that never been held accountable for anything, how are they going to know how to hold accountability for themselves? And I'm not saying it's black, white, Indian, Asian, whatever. I'm saying whoever has not been held accountable ever in their life, how are they going to hold themselves accountable for their actions? It's just not going to happen. That's like someone saying they have affluenza. You heard about the term affluenza?
Mm-mm.
All right, some like rich, wealthy white kid.
Oh, affluent.
Yeah, affluence. And he like killed somebody, ran him over or some shit. He was drunk or something like that.
Yeah.
Or raped somebody. I can't remember what the story was, but if you look it up, you can find it. And both times the person got off. You know what I mean? Because he suffered from affluenza. Now, to say that someone has affluenza, of course they had a boatload of money, so they were able to really push that, oh yeah, he has affluenza, he doesn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
But a kid from the hood, if he do that same thing, you can't say he has impoverished or he's impoverished or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
He's porenza or whatever the fuck. You can't say he has that because there's no backing. Oh, you don't have any money, and plus, oh, your skin, no, sorry, it's not going to work for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
we got to look at society in that way. The accountability factors are held high on. It's disproportionate. You know what I mean? The scale is heavy on one side. So if someone represents your culture, you got to make sure they're held accountable and not exploiting it. You know what I mean? And I think that's the important thing, is as long as that, because people love to complain and whine about stuff, but they don't want to do anything about it. And that's problematic. We can't have people sitting here complaining and whining about shit that's not willing to do nothing about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just like if someone was to do something, you know, like say for example, you had a practice in your family and it was only native to your family.
Mm-hmm.
And then you saw someone else doing it, and you know the only way they could have got it was from your family.
Mm-hmm.
And they just exploit the fuck out of it and do nothing about it.
Yeah. And make money off of it.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to do something about it. If you don't, it's like you're kind of like a disgrace to the family. Because you're essentially, you know what I'm saying? You got to do something about it because it's directly correlated to your family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we got to look at things like that. Like, in my opinion, I think everybody is able to practice whatever they want. Mm-hmm. But again, they have to pay homage to it.
Yeah.
That's it. Those are my only rules. Like if someone wrote a quote and then someone puts the quote online and doesn't like honor the person who wrote the quote, that's like, you gonna be like, oh damn, they got some wise ass words. Man, you didn't say that shit. Fucking someone else said it. You didn't say it.
Yeah.
You know, some dude in the alley holding a 40 said it, but you don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. We gotta honor people.
Yeah.
We gotta honor people, bro. We gotta
pay homage and be accountable.
Right.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So
it's like making a bibliography.
Right.
They make you do that, and copyright.
Yeah.
It's all in there.
Yeah, man.
In many forms and tiers. But I feel like that's a good spot to end it, and thank you for your wisdom.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for your wisdom.
Thank you. No, this was super cool. Like, it's an honor to have you as the first Electric Eyes podcast. That's super cool and full of insight. Thank you, DeAndre, for being here today.
Nah, thank you, man. It's my first time ever being on the podcast, so thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.